All right, so I think we can start now. So Mark, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us about your background and how did you get into crypto in the first place?
Okay, yeah, sure. So Mark, I'm Swiss, 39. I live in Thailand, in Phuket now with two daughters in a very beautiful place. Sadly, my co-founder AJ couldn't make it, a developer, but I've been working together with him for over 10 years. And we've built together a software, coding, and social media platform with which we reached 8 million followers and a few billion organic views through mental health and educational content, which we did on YouTube and Facebook. We started a company in 2013, and that's the first time I really heard about Bitcoin. And I was a huge fan already back then because I'm an advocate of democracy and decentralization and kind of power to the people kind of guy. That's why I was always a really big fan. But because we were running this social media business at the time, we weren't able to focus too much on it. We did a couple of videos explaining how the technology works, but other than that, we didn't have much time. That changed around 2021, where we started to be hired by some kind of very big blockchain projects to create 3D animations and general animations and explainer text to explain their technology. I was very deeply involved and learned a lot from very ex-Google engineers who were working there and very experienced blockchain engineers who even had parts in patching the very early Bitcoin code and so on. I had these weekly calls with them where they explained all these technologies in detail, and we developed these 3D animations for them to show how all that works. So that's when I had over a 1.5-year crash course in how the technology really works. And that's really where my co-founder and I came up with the idea for Cyrator, because we were astonished how some of these really amazing projects, huge projects with massive, like really ingenious technologies, and these guys had 150 people in their team and tens of millions in following in funding, and yet they were ranked number 900 on CoinMarketCap when they launched. And then at the same time, we saw these projects that are number 200, even in the 100s, that were really horrible, like obviously horrible projects. We got into it, researched a lot of projects, tried to figure out how we can find good projects, and quickly realized that it's a massive task. It's extremely difficult to find great projects because there's so many out there. It takes so much time to research good projects. And we had actually in the past year, 2-3 years, we've developed a lot from our social media experience. We've developed a lot of several prototypes for a human curated platform that helps find great content in the video industry. And we realized we can use a lot of these models that we've built to apply to crypto because it's the same problem. You have a lot of content, a lot of projects that are out there. It's very hard to find what the good content is. And we believe that human curated solution to it could be the solution. So that's how Cyrator came together. We reused a lot of tools that we've built previously and have been doing that for about a year now. And then 3-4 months ago, we did our soft launch where we got the first analysts on board and things really started going really well. And then we started focusing full time on it. That's my introduction. I hope it wasn't too detailed.
That's a pretty good introduction, Mark. And the problem you mentioned, it goes back to what I was already planning to say on my introduction as well. I just wish I could have had something like Cyrator when I started back in 2016. So I'm a son of the 2016-17 bull run. There were just so many scams back in the day, and still today there's so much to dig through, and I just wish we had Cyrator back then, and I could have some proper feedback about projects other than just aping after some Twitter influencer was gonna dump on the newbies using as their exit liquidity and so on. So yeah, like I started pretty much in 2016. I had a brief intro with Bitcoin back in 2010. Like I was trying to mine it, but back then I was still in college. Like I was like living at my parents, and my mom would just turn off the computer all the time. So I was never able to mine it. Otherwise, I would have been a millionaire by now or a billionaire. So can you tell us more about the features of Curator? What's a proof of curation? Because we never heard this concept before. So can we have a little deep dive into what you call proof of curation?
Yeah, sure. It's really, the term came up with one specific feature, but then became a cover term for all the features that we use to enable transparent, accountable, and ultimately trustworthy reviews. The reason why we came up with proof of curation is one of my favorite features that we are currently developing. It's not launched yet, but will come soon. And that's that analysts, the bigger they become on our platform, analysts can have followers. People can follow you, and when you post something, people get notified. And the bigger an analyst gets, the more dangerous they become. If someone has 1 million followers, they become dangerous if they say something bad, right? So that's why the bigger an analyst becomes, the more tokens they have to stake as a security collateral. So if they shill or say something bad, bounty hunter can flag them, then their tokens, their stake tokens can be slashed, and they can be expelled from the platform. So it makes it very expensive for people to shield, basically, or any bad behavior.
Yeah, and this
However,
is the problem with Twitter. I'm sorry to interrupt. This is the problem with Twitter or any other platforms. Like you can do the same on the Telegram channel. Like you can have a very toxic behavior, shilling and dumping and redoing the process over and over again, and having absolutely no penalty for it. And this is something that it's not going to happen with Curator.
exactly, that is in our deck, which I think you shared, right? We have a slide where we show the kind of competitive landscape, and we mention decentralized crypto insights, right? We are in that industry, and we are not the only ones that are decentralized, because Reddit and Twitter, they can be seen as decentralized crypto analysis. Everyone can share it, right? But what makes us different is exactly what you say. We have anti-collusion. Collusion is the term that's used, right, for 51% attacks and when people do bad things, right? And there are no anti-collusion features in Reddit and Twitter and pretty much anywhere else. So we are the only platform that does that. So the feature I just explained with the staking and the slashing, we call that proof of curation, because just like in proof of stake in Ethereum or so on, people can stake towards validators and get rewards for that. People can also stake towards an analyst they like or think they write great reviews on Curator. And then they will get rewards from the staking rewards pool that are proportional to that analyst's earnings. That means if you support an analyst that does really well on the platform, you will earn more from your staking rewards. Now, because that would mean most people would just go and support the highest earner, we actually make that reducing. With every additional person that supports the same analyst, the rewards will reduce. So the stakers are incentivized to go and find new talent on the platform. And that's why we call it proof of curation, because it's a type of human curation. The users will find the best content, the best reviews, and the best analysts on the platform. So
yeah,
that's
pretty good, because once again, making a comparison with Twitter, you can go on Twitter and you're not gonna if you follow let's say someone really big, the Crypto Dog or the Wolf of Wall Street, whatever. By the time they post about a coin, it's already pretty pumped, and you want to find someone who will post something very early, and you would go for like influencers with less than 10K followers. So once you jump in, it's not that pump, then you might get a reward for being an early investor in such token. However, you do not get a reward for being one of his early followers. And this is something that it's going to happen with Curator. If you find someone, an analyst that is that good on the early stage, like, you're going to have benefits for a long time. That's pretty good.
Exactly. Yes. Very much looking forward to that. Maybe also to continue a little bit, the proof of curation concept is very wide, and just want to explain how we want to prevent this shilling much further. We are also in the process now, actually next week, we are going to launch a new version of our points earning system. We are going to for now, one of the important things is that not all reviews count equally. The more upvoted reviews have a heavier weight for the rating than the ones that are not upvoted. We're still adjusting this, but the idea is that the top 20% most upvoted reviews have 70% of the ratings weight. This is starting to get introduced next week when we introduce super upvotes. Super upvotes are limited upvotes that for now analysts, but eventually stakers get. The more you stake, the most super upvotes you get. If you stake 100,000 Cure, you get 5 super upvotes. If you 200, you might get 7. It goes like that. You can give a super upvote to a review that you really like. And then you get rewards based on other people also upvoting a review that you've super upvoted. So that gives you an incentive to do that. It helps the platform to find reviews that are really good, right? So now for an analyst or a curator, as we call it, to become more and more influential, they have to really use these super upvotes and find the best content that we present to people. However, these super upvotes are very easily scrutinizable. So any bounty hunter can come in, click on a curator or an analyst, and they can see their super upvote history and comments that they've written with that. So it's very easy to tell, hey, this guy is really fishy or sketchy in how he super upvotes it, so we can flag them. The analyst starts at different levels. We have level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 analysts. To get to level 5, where you're very influential and your posts go everywhere, you will have to super upvote a lot of things. You will have to review a lot of things. All of these things give you experience points. As you earn these experience points, you can level up. So someone who comes in and is just a new analyst, even if they have 1 million followers on Twitter, if they can come into Curator, they can't just earn all this experience and get to the top and be influential. You have to start at the bottom. It takes time to earn all of this experience, and then you have more power on the platform. So if you then go, after you've done all of this work, and shield something, and you are in danger of being kicked off, and you lose all of that work, right? That is very dangerous and very expensive for you, because you're obviously going to make this a business at some point. So that's how I personally believe we can really build a platform that over time becomes more and more trustworthy the more time the analysts and the curators spend on this platform.
Yeah, I like the fact that I know the reward system is bilateral or multilateral, because if they would jump in the rankings on only from getting normal votes, like a big Twitter influencer, you could just get and say, hey guys, like now I'm on Curator, let's bump me up. I need everyone like to upvote all my reviews, and then out of the sudden, like this guy that is there to steal stuff would be at the top, and this is something that you will not be. It's not going to happen with Curator. And I do love the fact like of the super upvotes. I don't know if you guys use Tinder. Like there are the normal likes, and then there's the super like, and because the super likes are very scarce and you would have to pay for them, like you're only going to put a super in a chick that you really think she's super hot, and the same is going to happen here. Like you're only going to use the super votes if you find the review is really valuable.
Yes, sorry, exactly. So I told you that we kind of want to reveal our new landing page today. Is it a good time to maybe show you guys?
Yeah, sure. Feel free to present it.
Okay, so this is our new landing page here. Same as what we had before. Curator is an independent research community that rates and reviews crypto projects. And now this is a big thing that changes here. So we didn't have this before. We just had all the rankings that we had, and of course 1inch networks and so on were always on top. But what we have here now is something we've been working on with the analysts for over a month now. We call it the spotlight. So here we show the top rated projects in the spotlight. The way this works is that actually all analysts, they get once a week, they get to submit the project into the spotlight, and that doubles the rewards for reviewing this. Actually, I would like to, before I even explain more how this overview looks, I would like to explain how this works here on our locked-in version for analysts. Okay, so this is how it looks when you're locked in the spotlight. Now, every week someone can, so for example, here we can see someone has added CK Sync just a few hours ago to the spotlight, and then it came in here on the left side. And what this means is now we're gonna have double points for the first 5 analysts who do a micro review. This is just a quick review so we can filter if the project is really any good. They do these 5, and if it is at least rated 3 stars, then it pops up here into the in-depth review. And here you can see we have many projects in here now. And this is where then, let's just click on Algorand here, for example. This is where now people can come in and review the subcategories like idea, community, progress, and so on. The project then stays in this in-depth review for 2 weeks. As you can see, this one runs out today, and then there's longer terms here. And at the end of it, then the project graduates our spotlight review. And you can see quite a lot of review here, 19, 20, so on. Now, what we've done with this new landing page is we give users basically the cream of the crop that comes out of this review process. So here you can see out of the last 2 or 3 weeks, I'm not sure what the cutoff date is, these are the top rated projects that came out of this spotlight. And that's why we call it, these are projects in the spotlight, and these are the ones that have completed our rigorous review process. The really cool thing from this compared to the regular ratings we had before, which were quite static, always the same projects on top, this actually changes a lot. So every day one of these projects will pop out because the time has lapsed, and then a new project comes in. And these are all kind of hot projects in the crypto world because our analysts spotlight them because they're being talked about right now. So I'm really excited about this new landing page. That's why I wanted to show it to you guys.
Yeah, I think this is awesome, the spotlight, because especially for the people in the pre-sale investment space, it's a little hard for a new project to gain traction. But if the project is really good with your spotlight, anyone can add it. For example, and then if it gets really good reviews, then it gets on the spotlight and it gets tons of eyeballs, and
Exactly.
it will be much faster to gain traction outside of their own community.
Exactly. So we actually had the CEO of Decubate and the CEO of Bricken both came in, not through our effort, I think through community members who told them that they are listed here. They came in, they left comments on the reviews. They really engaged with the analysts. Sometimes they changed their website, their documents because of what our analysts said, so that it's clearer. So it really helps them, gives them a lot of feedback. Bricken, you can see here, we feature an AMA with them. So they actually reached out and we did a public AMA with them, which turned out really nice. We cleared up a lot of questions between our analysts and him. And this is now the top search result for when you go look for Bricken on YouTube. So we're really building this community center for, these are not, except for Algorand here, right, that come in. Sometimes the big tokens come in, but this is really a community place where analysts and founders and followers can all come together, give each other feedback, work with each other to improve these products. And hopefully, ultimately, it often ends in AMAs where everyone can talk together. But that's why I'm very excited about it. And I think it's just for people in crypto, you'll be able to come here every day and kind of see what are the new projects that are popping out and completing this review process.
All right, so this is not the kind of place someone would come as an investor to make some to help with decision making in your investments. It's also the kind of place where, as a founder, you want to come and you want to read the comments for some genuine, valuable feedback.
Exactly.
This is pretty awesome. As a founder, this is something that they should jump in.
You can see here, this is Elliot, is actually the founder of Decubate. And you can see here, so he's actually here explaining based on what the review has written here. And you can see him really engaging in, I think, in many of the comments, not in this one, but yeah, I've seen him engage in many of these projects. So I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, and this is awesome because like a lot of people, they want to reach out to the founders. They want to provide feedback. They want to tell them like new ideas, new product features. Like they are spend a lot on Telegram, on Twitter, that they never ever open it. And this is a place where, you know, the information and the contact is filtered. Like you can go there and see what people are talking about, what comments they make. And there can be like a multilateral communication in here.
Exactly.
All right, I wonder if like you would want to talk about the Launchpad, because there will be a decentralized Launchpad, and I'm pretty sure our community is very VC and Launchpad focused. So I wonder like how your decentralized Launchpad would be different from the vast amount of offer we have right now, and how is it going to work?
Yeah, so I think this is something we're not immediately working on yet. We have high-level ideas. Many of our community members, some of them are even here, are involved in designing this now over time. But the very general idea is that it's a decentralized launchpad, so it won't be us or any centralized authority making the picks. Any project can come to apply, and then our entire community of analysts can vote to accept them or not. If the project is accepted, then a random selection of 10 top-tier analysts is picked to do a private review of these projects. And then they get a second week where these analysts can verify each other's reviews. And only once that process is completed, then the project becomes live. And the idea of that is just that it's not a pay-to-play model, right? It's a completely democratic model. And you have our top-tier analysts that have gone through this entire process to give their opinion on it. Of course, as soon as it's live, then the entire community can come in and rate and review and give comments as well. So I believe that the actual funding of the project will only happen after a lot of this communication has happened and people can really trust in the reviews and the ratings that are there. The very high level ideas at this point. We're still discussing a lot of the specifics, but that's what it is so far.
Yeah, I wonder, I know like the Launchpad is not like something we're focusing right now, but for example, if you guys haven't thought about it, maybe I can just drop a very quick idea. And the problem with a lot of Launchpads is that it's very tough to get allocation. You need to buy thousands of dollars to sometimes get a 50 or $70 allocation on DAOmaker or Trust Swap or BSC pad, etc. So I wonder if, like, as an analyst, like your score will also correlate with the total amount of allocation you will have on the Launchpad.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. We want to give analysts the more experience they get on the platform, the more rights they have on the platform. So it's not just the rewards that you get is not just from writing a review and getting those immediate points. You should get many other benefits. And I think what you just brought up would be a very good benefit for analysts, that they have a much easier access to bigger allocations.
All right. I wonder if you have anything else you want to talk about before we jump into the community questions?
No, I think I'm pretty happy. I would love to hear questions and answer as many of them as I can.
Very quick question we had on Telegram from Cryptomendo, and I think it's a prize-winning question. Are there mechanisms in place to relieve selling pressure, or at least generate enough buyer-side demand to absorb supply inflation?
Okay.
This is the last question we had on the group, and you actually reply there. For our listeners, it would be interesting to get this answered.
Exactly. The idea is that, of course, we release tokens every week. Currently, about 760,000 Cure tokens per week to analysts for their contributions, and that will taper down over 10 years. Now, through their reviews, we will generate traffic, and through the traffic, we will generate revenues from different sources: advertising, API access, the Launchpad, private project reviews, and several other products. We will use these revenues to buy back tokens from the market, and then we distribute them to different pockets. So one will be a burn mechanism, which currently we set at 20%. Then the second will be 35% to a staking rewards, which will go, as we said, to the proof of curation stakers, right? 30% would go to the treasury to pay for operations, and another 15% would go to a token stabilization mechanism, basically part of the treasury, that will buy back tokens either at the floor, guaranteed floor price just from analysts, or also buy back tokens when the price crashes too much. It would also sell tokens if the price increases too fast, but the idea is that the token will be stabilized. In summary, all of the revenues will be used to buy back tokens for the market and then put into these different pockets. For now, it's not a DAO, but over the coming year, this will be moved into the DAO, that the DAO can adjust these percentages based on the needs of the business.
Yeah.
I want to add one more thing. So this is when the project is live. We do have something exciting, I think, pre-TGE. So we are pre-TGE now, but analysts are already earning tokens off-chain on our website, which will be airdropped mostly at TGE. However, we are currently setting up, probably launching either this or next month, an OTC platform where analysts can sell their already earned tokens even before TGE. There will be a smart contract that has some money in it that comes from revenues and other sources. Analysts can connect to it and they can exchange their tokens at a predefined rate. This rate, every time the pot doesn't get emptied out, the rate will slowly increase towards TGE. And that's really important because it will reduce a lot of the sell pressure pre-TGE, because anyone who has tokens who is willing to sell at a lower price already has the opportunity to do that in our smart contract. So over time, as people don't want to sell anymore, as it gets closer to TGE, the price will slowly go up and should really come closer and closer to what the eventual TGE price is. But it should lead to a situation where we don't have any huge drop or something like that after TGE, because those people were already well able to sell.
All right, that's indeed a pretty effective way of dealing with that, with the sell pressure, and it's also awesome for the analysts who, to cash in some money for their hard work they've been doing. So we have a question on Twitter Spaces from Kawin or Kavin. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. It's been holding for a while.
What's the question? Hey, anti-corruption. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. So I don't know, maybe you came in a little bit later. I think we talked quite a bit about that in the beginning, but so there are several layers of protection. The first one is that not everyone can become an analyst. You have to be voted in by the existing community. To do that, you have to write several reviews. Right now it's 5, some basic kind of information, and then you get voted in. Once you are voted in, you can always be voted out by the community again. So that's the first thing. I explained earlier, we will have a staking mechanism that the bigger an analyst gets, the more Cure tokens they have to stake. So let's say you have 1 million followers on Curator, you become very influential, very dangerous. You have to stake a lot of your earned Cure tokens. And if someone flags you now for shilling or spamming or whatever, that's very dangerous, very expensive, because if the community agrees with the flag and it decides to expel you, you can lose your stake and you can lose your 1 million followers on the platform. So it makes it very expensive. On top of that, I've explained a bit before, we're setting up a very intricate experience point system. So to actually get that big, you need to have earned a lot of experience, which will take at least many months. It eventually probably will take years to become a very big influential user on the platform. So it makes it even more expensive. Someone who has, let's say, 1 million followers on Twitter can't just come to Curator, set up an account, get everyone to upvote him, and then bam, be influential. He has to go through this process where they have to super upvote a lot of other content, and super upvotes, you only get a limited amount per week. You have to get experience in giving feedback to other analysts, lots of different things. On top of that, I think also generally, because the most upvoted, the most verified content has the heaviest weight for the ratings, even if someone comes in and writes something, if they can't get the community to support them, then the rating isn't really shown to anyone. It doesn't really affect the rating. And again, here, Twitter influencer can't just bring his audience because they need super upvotes from the existing people in the network to support them as well. So these are just a few of the things, but we have quite a network of systems that we're developing.
Regulatory space in America right now going after influencers that are showing projects that hire them. Like, how are you dealing with that? What do you have kind of planned for Cyrator?
Yeah, honestly, we haven't looked too much into that, but from what I know is influencers, they can promote projects, but they need to disclaim that they are paid by the project. I've been, as I said before, I've been on YouTube and Facebook for a long time. And in the content industry, that's already been a big thing. On YouTube, if you upload a video, you have to, if it's a paid promotion, you have to, there's a feature to help declare that. So that's definitely something we will include, where they don't have to type every single time, hey, I'm being paid by this, or I own tokens or stuff like that, that they can just set that. Maybe we can connect to they can declare a wallet where they have, or some kind of asset manager, so we can automatically show that an analyst is reviewing something that he has a holding in. So I think just these basic things we can build into the platform, and then it should be okay, because shilling is really when you're promoting stuff and you're not declaring that you own tokens or that you've been paid to do that. So I think I think the regulators will be okay with our solution. Is that a good enough answer? Or?
Yeah, cool. Thanks very much.
Okay, thanks, Lachlan.
All right, so that's a pretty clarifying answer of yours, Mark. And I wonder if we have anyone who wants to ask more questions, maybe in the Google Meet audience.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me, guys? Mark, I just want you to elaborate a little bit on this topic about the Cure token. Could you explain, please, to all of us why the Cure token is really crucial for the functioning of the entire curator system? And moreover, why this platform can exist and function correctly only in the Web3 paradigm? Here, that if you can give us some examples of different rating systems from Web2 paradigm and their disadvantages, and why Web3 design really matters here.
Yeah, it's a very difficult question, because ultimately you can argue that almost no project needs a token. You could do everything with US dollar or stuff like that. But I have a lot of experience with Web 2, and now I have experience with Web 3, and I strongly believe that what we're doing here would not be possible at all in Web 2, and because of the token. Most importantly, we have been getting amazing talents, and some of them are here, right, to be some of the first analysts on this platform. And they have come, we would have to raise millions and millions of dollars ahead to be able to hire those kind of people to write these kind of reviews. So by launching a token and just building the system, we were able to incentivize people who believe in the system, who are much higher level than we could have ever attracted to this kind of platform. There's a lot of utilities, a lot of roles that the token has in the ecosystem, but just from a personal kind of point of view, a lot of people keep making this argument. They ask, hey, why do you even have a token? Why does this token exist? 95% of these projects don't need a token. Maybe that is true in some case with a lot of these projects out there, but I actually believe the world, the economy, industry could change a lot if a lot more businesses would adapt token economy, because I just seen the amazing talent it has attracted of people who work for something because they believe in it. Everyone is in here now, they're getting these tokens instead of cash, right? They are all incentivized to make the platform strong, to make it survive, that the quality is there. They have a collective incentive to make this thing work. So for me personally, that is by far the strongest effect that this token has. And that is something that I would encourage any normal business to find a way to build tokens into their business, so that they can incentivize and motivate their existing employees, and also attract entire networks of people to collaborate with their business. And I think that's what Curator is. It's a massive decentralized collaboration, and I think it's only possible because of the token. The token will also be used for customers buying products on the platform, and for staking to create the security on the platform, right? So we make sure shillers lose stake if they do. But what I mentioned first is really that has been striking to me.
Fully agree here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have Patrick.
I just wanted to add, at some point when the token is live, if people are behaving in a way that is not correct, the proof of stake, I think it would be very hard to be transparent and immutable on that if it was not with a token. let's say that you do a proof of stake, but it's with US currency. You don't know if the database is being tampered with. So that you want all that corruption and colluding to be transparent in a database that cannot be modified. So I think it, as Mark is saying, is you could do it without, but it would not be as trustable as it would be with the token.
Yeah, thank you very much. I actually would like to add to that a little bit, because every industry actually has a ratings platform, important rating systems. But even Moody's and these kind of big rating systems, sometimes you're not really that trusting of them. These are centralized organizations. And that comes a little bit into the question that you also had in your group. They asked, how can we compete in the future to other crypto rating systems coming up? I think everything we're building, all the features and technology are not as important as the trust that we are now very slowly building. Every analyst that comes to our network is very carefully vetted by our community. They build a track record of reviews. And now step over step, I think over the coming months and then over the coming years, people will slowly start to trust Curator. I don't think that any other platform, even if Binance comes and says, hey, we pop up a Curator copy, I don't think people will immediately trust them. Maybe their core supporters will trust them, but outsiders, they know there's a lot of pay to play involved in CoinMarketCap, which is owned by them and so on. So I think that plays into what Patrick said. We are planning to bring a lot of these things on chain. Even the reviews themselves will eventually be stored on chain. So there's full immutable transaction history there. So I do agree, Patrick, with you. Sorry for my long explanation, but I do agree with this product specifically. It is very important that there is a completely immutable aspect to it, and that no central authority can corrupt.
If we have any further questions from our community, but I'll just take this time to remind we have the prizes for the best community questions, but we also have a prize of 5,000 cure going on until the end of Sunday for new analyst registrations. We have 5,000 cure. I've posted the link here. You can see it on Telegram as well. So if you like to review projects and you want to get it started now, it's a good time to do it, because this is like an extra bonus being given specifically to our community. So feel free to sign up.
Exactly. And also, if you sign up, feel free to come to our chat, message me directly. I've guided a lot of analysts through the onboarding process. It's explaining how reviews should be written, answering a lot of questions, kind of one-to-one, one-on-one that they have about the reward system and the stability of the token and all these important things. With most analysts, I've had a one-on-one call, or even Dan, who's on the call, he has had one-to-one calls. It's really, every analyst that we have is a gem in our system, right? We are building this community up one by one. So don't hesitate at all to reach out, ask any questions you have, and start building a relationship with each other. It isn't just you going to apply as an analyst and are completely disconnected from everything else. You're really joining a community of analysts that support each other, discusses things with each other.
All right. Okay, I think we can now come to the last part of this meeting, unless someone has any last question. This is where I ask our guests, what's the advice like you would give generally in life, and a specific advice for cryptos? On my side, I want to give you guys some advice as be early for the projects. Try to find them very early, because it's very rewarding. If you just found Curator and if you're one of the early analysts, like you can be a part of the team, you can be an early adopter, and you can earn tons of rewards throughout the future. And another general life advice, you gotta be bold, start your own project, take the trip you want, tell the girl you want to be with her. Being bold is very important. So Mark, you want to give people some advice?
Sure, yes. I think in crypto, I think being early is good, but I think you also have to be vigilant. And I don't want to self-promote, but I think, come on, before you invest in something, come on, Curator, see what other people have to say. We are going to build a tool where you can also suggest projects to invest. I think a lot of investment is made out of this FOMO drive, and you feel like this project is coming and you have to do it right now because an hour later it's already more expensive or you don't have a chance anymore. I think it's good to step back a little bit sometime. And I think if you go on Curator, see what other people say, be open to criticism about projects. We have seen that followers of projects are sometimes almost a little bit blind. They come to our platform and almost hackle our analysts a little bit, saying, oh no, but the project is so great. And then the analyst says, yeah, but there's something wrong. And then the guy says, no, but it's great. And you're like, be open to criticism about the project that you are supporting so much. You should not be defending your project, really, even if you support it. And you can even support a project that is not absolutely perfect all the time. I think, yeah, just be careful a little bit while being bold. Also be careful and be open to criticism from other people about a project. I think that would be in crypto, my advice. In life, I can just say what helps me personally, what made me much happier person is to be happy with what I have and with things that are very reachable in my surroundings. So that doesn't mean to not be bold. I am personally pretty bold starting a startup and all of that. I have 2 daughters and a lovely wife, lovely family. The most happiness I have is if I turn everything off and I sit down on the floor with my kids and my wife and I play with some wooden toys or something. And I sit there and I just don't give myself any task. I'm just happy to just sit there and be that in that moment. And I don't tell myself to be happy or to be sad or anything. And just sit down and I just let things be. And then I realized that I can be happy in almost any situation like that. Even things are difficult or I'm in a place that I don't even really so much, to just sit down and not care so much about what I should do or shouldn't do or what's going on, and just be aware of my surroundings and start enjoying things that find enjoyable things that are around myself. That is personally giving me a lot of calm, a lot of happiness, and it's putting a lot of focus for myself on my family. So I think in this very busy life we have with phones and careers, and especially if you're in crypto with money going up and down and left and right, I think to just take a step back and take a breather and enjoy the things that are around you and find ways that you can learn to love almost anything that is around you, to just calm down. I think that's my personal advice.
Exactly. That's pretty good advice. Sometimes we just need to turn everything off and look around you and be grateful for what you have around you. If you have a beautiful family, you have a beautiful neighborhood, a beautiful community, an amazing dog, which is my case, you can just be grateful for what you have in the moment and carpe diem, enjoy the moment.
Exactly.
Don't think about like how rich you are in a 2021 bull run and you didn't cash out, but it's still like you're still in crypto. There will be another bull run. And there are other things to be appreciated. So yeah, this was awesome advice, Mark.
Thank
and
you.
I wonder if anyone wants to make any final remark, any question. Oh yeah, Danny, please go ahead.
Yes, so I have a question. How Curator and Presale Mastermind are going to collaborate?
Very good question. Bruno, how are we going to collaborate?
Initially, okay, so to be quite frank, actually, Daniel, he reached out to me because he thought he was reaching out to another Bruno, which is living in Spain, but we just thought we are actually perfect for each other. We've been analyzing, as a community, we've been analyzing projects in Presale Mastermind, and this is like what you guys are doing as a platform. Like you open the space for people to analyze projects and provide very valuable feedback. And I was like, why don't we do an AMA and bring some of my folks into your platform, and who knows what other opportunities might come in the future. So far, I love collaborating with Mark and Daniel, and I'm pretty sure other opportunities are gonna come in the future.
Maybe this is something we should also open up to your community if they see ways that they would like to collaborate. We can continue the discussion in your group.
Yeah, for sure. If you wanna collaborate, you can become an analyst if you have the keen on reviewing projects and sharing them and finding new gems and everything. And if you have other ideas that you could help out with, like with making Curator even more awesome than it is, or bringing value into the Presale Mastermind community, you guys feel free to do so.
Yeah, great. And I'll be in the group from now on. I happily continue answering questions. I think maybe we can also, when we find really great projects, we'll drop a message in your group just to inform people, and if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. It would be lovely to, every time you find a new project and you have rated it personally very high, then I'm pretty sure some members of our community would like to take a look and maybe invest in it. Who knows?
Great. Let's hope this is the start of a fruitful partnership.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Thanks so much, Mark and Daniel, and thanks for our listeners. Just a reminder, we have this contest until Sunday. You can apply to be an analyst with the link in the Telegram group, and follow the onboarding process with Mark and Daniel. Okay, so
Thank you very much.
guys.
Thank you so much.